record it just in case. Hi, everyone. All right, so let's get started. I'm going to put this in presenter mode just to go over some things. Wow, it is amazing that we are already in the holiday swing of things. I don't know about you guys, but I had to make a run to the grocery store here to pick up a few things that I realized I have 24 hours before I have to make. So had to do that tonight. It's pretty crazy. Let's see. I think we'll just do that. Presenter view. Okay, so we are recording. Can you all, Maureen, can you see my screen?
I can.
Okay, awesome. All right, I don't think this is the way we normally like it. So let me go into this way instead. I don't know if I like it that way either. I think I'll just share my screen.
Yeah, I think it was fine before. There you go.
Okay. All right, everyone. Well, we're not really sure what will come out of our mouths tonight, and we certainly don't want anybody to think that we are trying to use this time to say that we can diagnose, treat, or prevent anything. So if you want to take a quick read of this disclaimer, it is unfortunately something that we do have to do these days. But the goal of tonight is to, with Black Fridays, this is a time you go buy your big screen TVs and you go buy the things that are super expensive because Black Friday is when sales are going on. And there are definitely some things to get excited about because most businesses are going to do some sort of Black Friday, and at Nuovo Te, we are too. But we're going to talk about a couple of things. And what we're going to talk about tonight, the good thing is they are on Black Friday specials that go through the 30th, I believe. Now, they normally don't run them past it. Maybe they will, maybe they won't, but at least through the 30th, you'll get to see some of the things that are really discounted highly. And there are a lot of things we talk about in mine and Maureen's business at Nuovo Te. We specialize in weight loss, anti-aging treatments, body treatments, hair restoration. A lot of people have had, genetic issues. They've had long COVID, autoimmune, just stress, hormonal issues. There's all kinds of reasons for hair thinning and especially women losing their hair. It's actually, it's devastating for women. And we have those conversations every day with women and men. And so we've got some great specials. If you're local to the Madison, Janesville, we have people drive 3 hours to come see us because our pricing is so good. So you never know, depending where you're catching us at during the time of this video, we may have something for you. All right, so let's talk about our first thing. This is one of my I'll say it's one of my favorite things to talk about in the sense that it's such a wake-up call. I'm gonna kick this off and I'm gonna let Maureen talk a lot more about this particular one. But MTHFR and inflammation are two things that I think we should be testing when we're born, because if we know these two, if we have this inflammatory marker, this gene mutation that makes us way more susceptible to have the effects of inflammatory issues, that would be really good to know when you're young and growing up, not when you're 60, 70, 80, 90. But if you could do things from the time you're very young through life, you probably could go without a lot of pain. And we know inflammation is stress and inflammation are the two main causes of disease. So inflammation is a big thing, but MTHFR, this is huge, especially with women. MTHFR, it's a gene mutation. It is the mother yupper of all genes. And it looks like a dirty word, and a lot of people say it as a dirty word because it can really bear some tough things with health-wise. I'm going to let Maureen talk about her experience with these two because there's nobody better to talk about it than her because she experiences every day. So I'll let you take it, Maureen.
Well, unfortunately, that's true. And I also have, you can see one of the markers that our DNA shares is the whether or not you have an increased risk of inflammation, which I also have. And high inflammation is a lot of people now are saying that it's like the root of 98 to 99% of all disease. So you want to know if you have that as a problem so that you can take care of it. But I also do have that MTHFR gene mutation, and I had some birth defects, probably as a result of that, because you obviously get these variants genetically, so from your parents. And so I have a double variant, and it has caused so much grief in my life. But it was like so eye-opening when I found out that I had it, because then you can start to figure out what to do about it. So there are so many things, and one of the things that we've been talking about quite a bit is bioage, and that is something that's actually helped me as well. But the MTHFR gene mutation can cause things from, having problems detoxing, having problems absorbing nutrients. Uh, it causes problems like where your cells just kind of get toxic quicker than maybe somebody else, obviously. And if you don't take steps to get rid of that or to counteract that, it piles on pretty quickly. And as we get older, it gets worse. And if you've been on one of our talks in the past, you know that we talk about bioage, which we're going to mention again tonight. But as we're aging, automatically we're losing 50 to 75, 80% of our NAD production. And then if we have this toxic level of cells from having these variants, the things that it can cause are crazy. And I ended up having to have my thyroid removed because of it. It wasn't functioning well. My parathyroids were removed as a result of all of this. I am one of the people that have suffered from hair loss, which was significant hair loss. And since I started the BioAge and got my DNA and got my roadmap to what do I do to fix these things, my hair is actually kind of growing back. So I've been wearing wigs for a while, you guys. So this is pretty exciting for me.
That's incredible. Like, I have not seen Maureen in almost 2 weeks, and I was actually going to text you and say, is that your hair?
Is that a new wig?
No, I'm serious. It looks
Yeah.
fantastic. You guys, you have no idea.
Yeah, it's been pretty mortifying. And there's so many things, it's not just hair loss, but it's, metabolic syndrome. There's so many things. And then of course, once, not to be a medical bashing, but once they kind of get their hands on you and you start down that rabbit hole of um, surgeries and medications, things get even worse. And so, I don't have a very good metabolism anymore because of having my thyroid out. And then as you're aging, and just natural aging is hard. Natural aging is hard. But when
Yeah.
you put all of these things in the mix, it just is a constant battle. So I am so grateful I have this roadmap. And this is just one of many, many things that this DNA will give you. And like Angie said, it's on a Black Friday special right now. So we wanted to really kind of talk about all the benefits of it.
Yeah. And so a lot of people have heard of like Gary Braca. He talks a lot, like he tests for MTHFR. He's very expensive. And so this report gives you, actually, you can get a lot from what you would get from a guy like him in this for a fraction of the cost. So it's really user friendly. There's so many resources around it, and we really do love it. But the MTHFR gene mutation, it's just that alone is worth the cost of the genetic test to know that. And what about your kids? If you have anybody who you know that has miscarried or having trouble getting pregnant or staying pregnant, this is a huge deal. The 677 gene variant, the gene code, this is the one we're looking predominantly at for infertility and basically the whole cascade of baby making and baby delivering and the health of the baby as well. And so this is a really big deal. And the 1298 is going to focus more on diseases that are related to methylation. So Maureen had trouble with pregnancy, getting pregnant, right? I do believe you at first
Miscarriages. I had several
miscarriages,
miscarriages. Yeah.
and
And
she
so
has the
obviously,
1298.
yeah, obviously you really worry about, I ordered DNA for all of my kids after I got mine because I was like, I don't want them to have to suffer through this. And luckily, my daughter, I was pregnant with twins and lost one. And my youngest daughter was pregnant with twins. And luckily, I had her on some really good methylated vitamins before she got pregnant. And so the doctors were like, this was like a picture perfect pregnancy. So my mother had a stillborn, I had miscarriages. And then once we got this information and got the methylated vitamins that we need, everything, it's like DNA is DNA, genetics are genetics, but you don't have to live in that same path as long as you have the knowledge.
Yep, for sure. And there's genetics and there's epigenetics. Genetics are really how your body is made, the genes of you. It's your code, it's your genetic coding. The epigenetics, those are the factors that are actually going to turn off or turn on. They're going to influence your genetic coding. That could be things like smoking, drinking, not sleeping, your toxic exposure, your stress levels, your medications you're on, the foods you eat. Do you sit around all day eating deep fried food and candy bars and you never go to the gym and you have no social life and you just have, you're kind of depressed? Like those things will all influence the way your genetics express themselves. Or are you somebody who you might even have a bad genetic code, but you eat really well, you drink clean water, you breathe, you have good friendships and healthy relationships, and you sleep well? All of those things can turn off the bad genetics and turn on all the good genetic side. And you can beat the odds of maybe getting dealt a bad hand, so to speak. Okay, that's really weird that it's coming in like that. There we go. Okay. All right. So this one, fat loss with exercise. So this was really an eye opener for me because there are a lot of people who would come into our business for like body treatments and stuff. And they were so just like, I work out all the time. I do or I do kickboxing or boot camps, and I do all these things every day, and they can't lose any weight. They just keep getting bigger and bigger, and nothing seems to work. And a lot of people don't understand that there is actually a genetic coding. So somebody in the green here, this is somebody who would be very efficient in burning fat because they store. So this is what's key. This gives us an idea of where do you store your excess fuel? Are you storing it in your muscle so it's ready to be burnt, or are you storing it in that subcutaneous fat, the squishy stuff, the stuff you're squeezing? Well, this happens to be mine. And Marina, are you the same? Are
I
you
thought
in
you were in the
yellow?
green. Are you sure this? Are you
You're in
sure
the
this is
green?
yours?
I'm in the yellow on this, yeah, because I have to
Yeah.
exercise and diet.
Okay. Yeah. So I'm least efficient, and I'm just going to be honest. I was not a good healthy eater, but I love to exercise. So I always thought I could out exercise a bad diet. Where Angie, she was a great eater. She ate healthier than anyone I know, but she hated exercising. And so, of course, it's the opposite of what we wanted it to be, but it is what it is. So now we know, and we needed to make adjustments.
Yeah, so I know I do, if I really want to burn fat, and it's very true, I need to be very active, and I need to exercise very specifically. We don't have it all in here, but it'll tell you if you're a sprinter or if you're an endurance or if you're a combination of those. There are different muscle fibers. That's muscle fibers that are fast twitch or slow twitch. Well, I am a slow twitch. I'm an endurance, and those who know me, I am not built like I don't look like a runner. I don't look like a long distance anything. I'm square and, I look like a bodybuilder frame more so. And that's what I was doing. And it was killing me. I actually still have a shoulder injury. So I have to be very careful. So this is fascinating for people who go to the gym or don't go to the gym and they're struggling. This might be this one thing right here could totally change the trajectory of how your body works with burning fat and diet. Because like if you're in the yellow like me, you've got to really watch your diet, but you've got to really know you've got to be in the gym or you've got to be doing, workouts. And depending on how your muscle fibers are, there's specific exercises, a style that you should do predominantly. All right, what do we got next here?
Well, and we always tell people diet's important for everyone. Obviously, it's just that some people can lose weight if that's if that's something you're trying to do. Some people can lose weight easier with exercise than others. Exercise is great for everyone so that when you turn 80, you can get up off the
All
floor,
right.
but it might not be the best source of burning fat unless you're doing the right things. So it's just really nice to know what that is.
Yeah, I
The
mean, movement
keto
in general, right? I mean, we all should be doing some form of movement at the very
Right.
least.
But there's so many people that are like, I go to the gym for 2 hours a day and I just can't lose weight. Well, they need to work on that in the kitchen more so than sitting 2 hours at the gym. And
This.
that was me. That was me. It wasn't that I ate a lot. I just wasn't eating the right things and I couldn't out exercise my bad diet.
She loved McDonald's drive-through.
I did. God, I can't even believe I don't know when the last time was I was there.
Oh, so when we have our in our weight loss program, this is one thing that we do in our big weight loss program that we have where we're doing labs and we're doing genetics and a lot of other things. But this is a big deal for sending people on their way as a maintenance, is to understand how their body works with the fuel sources coming in, such as carbohydrates and dietary fats. Because for some people, dietary carbs could be very beneficial, and for others, they could be pretty much a killer for their diet. So genetics do play a pretty important role in here. And I know Marina and I both did keto. We have certified in several keto programs. We always liked keto, but the more we've learned, and then when we started going down the genetic path, we realized keto is not for everyone. And keto is actually really good for me. I am medium sensitivity. I have medium sensitivity to carbs, but I have low sensitivity to fat. So a higher fat diet isn't necessarily bad for me as long as I keep my carbohydrates in control. But Maureen, it was kind of a shocker, right?
It was because I was doing the keto. Have you ever been around a bunch of people that are like, "Oh, I'm doing this diet," and all your friends are losing weight like crazy on it, and you're not, and you just feel like they're looking at you like, "Yeah, you're not really doing it. You got to be cheating because we're all losing weight and you're not." And you're doing it exactly the same way that they are. Well, that was me with the keto diet, and I kept saying, "I don't get it. I don't get it." And then I get my test results and it says that I have a high sensitivity to dietary fats. Well, the keto diet is high fat, low carb, medium protein, and it just doesn't work for me. I think it's a good diet in terms of, the average person, but if you get your DNA done, you might find out that that doesn't work for you.
Well, I think keto and even carnivore, paleo, like they can be really good for most people for at least 2 to 4 weeks. But going past that, for some people, if you hit a pretty hard stall and you're doing everything right, it could be a genetic issue that you're eating either you're probably eating too many fats, or depending on, I mean, I have people who are high sensitive to carbs and high sensitive to fats. Well, what do you do? Well, that's
Hmm.
easy. Eat protein. And you can still, it doesn't mean you can't have these foods, but this can really be an aha moment for people because a lot of people will eat a lot of fruit because they think fruit is super healthy to have it in abundance. They think, potatoes, corn, that's a vegetable, and they're not eating a lot of protein. They're actually eating low protein and they're maybe eating the wrong kind of fat. So this is a really great, and they give you all types of, it comes with a lot of information to help you navigate through this, but we just want to kind of give you some specifics that are just little 411s.
I wanted to back up just for a second, Angie, because I did some research recently and found out that Gary Brecka, just his MTHFR test alone is $500.
Yeah.
And that's if you get it on sale. It can be as high as 750 to 800 is what I've heard. I don't know that for a fact.
LabCorp is 500 too. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's very expensive.
And we'll get you the price of this DNA, which is not only, not only just that MTHFR gene, but all of these other markers.
And others.
So important.
Yeah, we don't even have it all on here.
Right.
Another big thing is like weight regain. There's also an obesity marker too, like your susceptibility to obesity. But weight regain and appetite. Appetite's actually a really big one, because if you are one that has this appetite in the red, you do not want to be doing long-term fasting if you get hungry, and because your body will definitely go in starvation mode. My belief is like 3 solid meals a day for somebody in the red. Now, if somebody in the green, they can have a tendency to not have such a big appetite, so it doesn't trigger this huge response. And it's also this fullness gene. So, being satiated. And somebody in the red, they have such a delayed response from the time they know they're going to eat and food hits the lips to that message getting to the brain to signal that that leptin response of you're satiated and you're starting to become full. It can take up to 30 minutes if you're in the red. I just had a patient who got her, I have to do her review with her, but she has no shutoff valve. Like, she can eat and eat and never get full. And she said it's embarrassing because I'm still eating and I don't get full. And she goes, I really have to watch myself. And she's like, this makes so much sense. It actually made her feel better that it's not her fault. Like, this is a genetic component of her body. And so she has to do certain things like eat slower, put the fork down, take a breath, chew her food. Like, she has to use more logic because she may not even have a 30-minute timer that goes off. So for me, I'm in the yellow and it takes me about 20 minutes. And then I'm so full because I ate too fast. And then somebody in the green, those are the people who eat like a bird. Like, those are the people who they put food on their plate and they're full already just looking at it. I don't understand that, but.
And you know what's embarrassing is when your husband is in the green and he's 6 foot tall and you're in the yellow and you're 4'11" and you're eating dinner bite for bite and he like stops and he's full and you're like, oh, maybe I better stop eating. And then 20 minutes later, you're like, oh, stop, I'm so stuffed.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, it is eye-opening, and it makes you actually feel like, well, thank God there's a reason I'm like this and I'm not just a pig.
I'm not just a pig. I know. I'll say this really quick because it is kind of a funny story, but my first husband, I met his parents for dinner when we first started dating. And afterwards, he was just like, did you have to take the biggest piece of chicken? Yes, because my eyes are bigger than my stomach. No, my stomach is big. Yeah.
And I didn't want to have to go back for seconds in front of everybody.
I have out-eaten every man that I've ever been involved with, for sure. And the weight regain, this is really good to know too, because if you're somebody who has a lot of rebound weight, you have got to learn to be consistent. You can't be doing drastic diets. Like, you need to find something that works for you, and just, it's probably going to be slower going, but it's going to be that, consistency wins. It's the journey, not the race. So really important. All right, here's just some specials, you guys. We wanted to put this out there, move us here. The DNA just alone is normally $250. It is on special for $178.49 through the 30th. And you also get a $50 instant credit that you can use towards your personalized vitamins. Now, this is something Maureen and I, this is what got us excited about this company, because our personalized nutrition, it cross-references with all of your, it cross-references with your DNA if you do the DNA, but it also cross-references with your family history, your symptoms, your conditions, your medications, your lifestyle, your habits, all of these things. And then it gives you an actual why button that you can see, why are you being recommended certain vitamins? And you can add, you can, reduce, you can remove, you can even add some ones that you might want that maybe aren't like showing up as super important, but you may be like, oh, I just want that right now. I maybe want extra vitamin C, even though I don't need it per se. And so that's a great thing. You can get quite a few vitamins for that $50 savings. And then you get our BioAge and Energy combo, which is our holiday helper. It's our 3 days on BioAge. You will feel something different for sure. And then we have the detox and BioAge. Now we love our detox. I'm on my 5th night of taking the new jelly cleanse, and it is a very gentle, it keeps the bowels moving. It tastes like grape jelly. To me, it's like a Jello shot on Badger Saturday. It's kind of what it tastes like without the alcohol. It has that consistency. It tastes literally like grape jelly. But it has a lot of great things in there that keep your bowels moving. And it's a 5-day cleanse, but you can, do it for 5 days and keep a couple extra around just on days that you may need it. The detox box is one of our favorite products for helping our clients kind of clean things up, maybe after a vacation or after, a couple holiday weekends, or, you just know it's time. Maybe it's spring detox time or fall detox time. You just feel like you need to take a break and do something really good for your body. This is a great thing. And then you throw in the most amazing product on the planet, the BioAge. And all of that is only $229.49. So that's that's $110 savings. So or maybe even more. It's a great, great deal. And then our DNA and BioAge, and you also get that $50 credit for your personalized nutrition for $280. So you're saving $100 with that combo. There's some other ones too. These are our 3 favorite. These are the ones that we would recommend. Like if you're gonna do something, do one of these. But if you're interested in all of them, we definitely can help you with that.
Well, I do want to
Anything
mention that
there?
these prices that you have there,
Yep.
you can't just go on to ID Life and get those prices. Those require getting a VIP account, which we can help anybody with that if they're interested.
Yeah. So just let one of us know, or and we can get you situated. Let's just see, where do we want to go? Let's just talk about, why don't we just go over this slide with BioAge real quick?
Yeah. So BioAge is obviously really important to me, having that MTHFR mutation, the double variant, as well as all the other issues that I've had, with not having my thyroid and all of those things. Like my energy was just crashed. And I knew that it wasn't just like my energy, like, oh, I'm tired. Like it was at a cellular level, like I was just crashed. And so I had been researching NAD for a while because I heard that that was like the molecule of life, which it really truly is. Because if your body's not producing it, you're dead within 30 seconds. It's that important. And so when your cells are toxic and you're just not able to get that whole Krebs cycle working, which is, your mitochondria, so that you can get the energy out of your cells, it's really, the fatigue is not even, you can't even explain it to someone. It's not just a matter of you're just really tired. It's a matter of you can't lift a leg up. You know, you can't hardly function. You could just lay down in the middle of a store and go to sleep. And it's not only that, but it's also just the mental fatigue and everything. So NAD is the molecule of life, and your body produces it. And by the age of 20, from 20 to 40, your body stops producing it like 50%. And so that's why we start to age. You know, we have people that, you know, I have kids that are in their 30s and they're like, oh my gosh, you know, my hair's going gray, I'm getting wrinkles, I'm so tired. And you kind of think, well, that's so young. Like when you get to be my age, you're thinking, gosh, they're so young. But then when you learn this, it's like between the age of 20 and 40, their body has stopped producing at a 50% level. So it NAD is in every single cell. It's kind of like when your battery starts going dead and you need to plug it in. Like it's just not, your phone's going to shut off, right? So it is the molecule of life. And um, if you can get that production to be increased, it's amazing. And the BioAge has been absolutely wonderful for me. But not only do you need to increase the production or increase the energy, but also you're going to have a bunch of like half dead cells in your body because we have cell turnover every day. So if your cells are slowly dying, which they do, um, if you're really, really healthy, you probably just pass those dead cells and then new ones come in. But if you're not, this will help with that as well. And I'll let Angie explain that.
Well, what's really scary is this generation that's coming up now is said to be the first generation that probably won't outlive their parents. That is really scary. And so why is that? What is affecting that? Well, there's all kinds of things, and we don't have time to get into all those things. All we need to know is that is what they are saying. And based on our food, our air, our water, our stress, our electromagnetic hit that we're getting on a daily basis from every part of our lives, from where we sleep, for where we drive, where we work, everything. It is really hard to think that in an age that is seemingly so advanced medically, that we may be living older, but we are not living healthier. We have it's almost, I will tell you, if you are 60, 70 years old, and I know that I have a 78-year-old who's not on a medication. She's a patient of mine. She goes to the doctor and they ask her for her list of medications. And every single time they're absolutely shocked that she says, I'm not on any medications. But then she shows them what she takes for supplements and they just kind of go, ah. I don't understand. But most adults, by the time they're 40, are on at least one or two medications, at least. And by the time they're 50, they're probably on 4 or 5. And then when they get up in their 60s and 70s, it starts to, unfortunately, we've had clients at New Avote that are on 20, 23, 25 medications. And after working with us, they've been able to reduce down to 2 or 3 of these medications that they probably will have to be on long term, but wow, what a difference. And so one of the biggest problems that happens at the cellular level is that we do have these dead and dying cells that are really just taking up space, and the body sometimes has a hard time getting rid of. And even if it can get rid of them, we also have these senescent cells, and these are what are coined as zombie cells. These are cells that aren't dead yet, but they're not healthy. Like these are things that are affecting healthy cells. And so when cells replicate themselves, they're creating a duplication of a toxic cell, a cell that's not exactly healthy. And we need to clean these up. So there is something in this BioAge, other than there's a ingredient in here that boosts NAD, and that's NMN. It's a very long word supplement, but that is it is the best form to help boost NAD at a like an amazing level. But on the other part of this product is something called sirtuins. And sirtuins are proteins, and these are the things that go in. They're the longevity genes. It's what helps us look younger. Nobody wants to look their age or older. Nobody, unless you're 17 and you want to look older. But if you're 30, 40, 50, 60 and above, the last thing you want to do is look your age. And so the longevity gene is how our body is actually aging. And these sirtuins are what help clean up the cell. They help maintain the stability of the cell. They help repair the DNA and that gene expression that we talked about, making the signaling better. And then, of course, remove and destroy and attack those zombie cells. So this is a huge, and this is an ingredient called pterostilbene. And this is what goes after this, this icky part of the cell, the things that are just, they're bogging down our cell. So we have to boost the NAD level, because without it, we will not feel well. And when we don't have it, we begin to see major symptoms. And when our body stops even producing it, we die. I mean, our bodies can't go without it. So the NAD with the NMN and the serotonins with the pterostilbene, these two products, or these two ingredients, are super, super important for the longevity of our cells and basically our overall health. All right, what do we got? So here, just kind of talking about that NMN, this is that naturally occurring molecule, but we're actually giving it to the cell. The TerraVita is a combination of that pterostilbene I talked about and piconolic acid, which is, these are trace minerals. This helps with the like cellular communication in the body as well. And they come in two little strip forms. Maureen, if you want to talk about this, because you have researched this, so I think you're great to speak on this real quick, and then we'll finish up.
Yeah, so obviously with my health issues that I realized were the cause of a lot of my problems, I heard about this NAD, and so I started researching it, and it was really important to me, not only for myself but for my husband, because he was struggling from a brain injury. And everything that I looked at, I ran into a dead end. And I see it on Facebook and in different groups and stuff all the time, where people are like, "Oh, I'm taking NAD plus supplements," and I'll say, "Well, are you taking them like in a pill form?" And they're like, "Oh yeah." And I hate to break it to them, but it's like, I just want to tell them, well, you might as well throw it out, because all the research that I did made it very clear that it was a waste of your money. Because if NAD supplements, or NMN, which is that nicotinamide mononucleotide, or however you say it, that is the precursor to NAD. And if you take that in a pill form, your stomach acid will destroy it before it even gets into the bloodstream, much less the cells. So I kind of gave up on it, because the only other option were IVs, and they were literally thousands of dollars a week if you wanted to take it at like an actual dose that was going to make a difference. And if you weren't, well, there's no point in doing it. So a low dose IV is probably about $500. They can go up to 800-900 on a low dose. And that you'd probably have to do every day for a while until you can really build up. And then as soon as you quit doing it, it's slowly gonna, or quickly gonna, probably reverse back. So unless you're one of the uber rich, you cannot afford, 2,500 a month, or I mean a week. So you're talking $10,000 a month just to get the IV. So it was untouchable for me. And I just decided that, I wasn't going to be able to get it. And so when we heard that this BioAge was NMN with the pterostilbene, I literally could not believe, I was so excited. And so it's been very life-changing for me. And I think it is for a lot of people. Some of the testimonials that we've been getting are crazy, but it's going to help with that inflammation. It's going to help with organ dysfunction, and it does cross the blood-brain barrier. So in the energy that you get from it is amazing. And so there's so many positive things that it does. But what we like to tell people is it's a really smart, um, what's the word you want to call, like a molecule or whatever. It's just really smart. So like for me, I was worried about my hair, right? Like I was really wanting to fix my hair, but I know I had some other issues too. But you know, if I have hair loss, but I also have like a heart issue, it's not going to care about my hair. It's going to go straight to working on the most important thing for me. So that's pretty smart. Like it knows, like, yeah, it's anti-aging, like in a vanity kind of way where it's going to help with your hair and your skin and your nails. But if you have a lot of other health issues, like major inflammation or some kind of organ dysfunction or a brain problem, it's not going to worry too much about those minor things until it gets you in a safe zone. So, yeah, you might notice some things in the first few days, but this is something that if you're going to do it, you want to make a commitment to try it for at least a couple, 2, 3 months, because that's when it's going to actually really start doing the hard work. And then when it gets through the things that you might not even have known were a problem, like maybe you were having a liver problem and you didn't know it yet. So it's going to work on that. And then it will get to the things that are maybe important to you. Like we all worry about the things that are visible until something really significant breaks down in your body. And then all of a sudden, you know, that hair loss isn't as important when you're thinking that you're having, you know, some kind of a liver problem or a brain problem. And I want to tell you that this is absolutely something that's near and dear to my heart right now, too, because I have a friend who has another friend whose husband needs a liver transplant desperately. And he has been, I don't know if you know what it's like to get on a liver you know, some sort of an organ transplant list, but he's been called into the hospital 4 times now in the last few months. And they call him up because they have a donor who's obviously about to be ready to give up the organ. And he's had 4 times he's had to drop everything, rush into the hospital. It's near to my heart right now because I just got a message saying um, to earlier she asked me to you know say some prayers for him because he got another call and they were on their way to the hospital. And she just messaged me and said they sent him home again. So out of 4 phone calls for liver donors, none of them were a viable liver. They weren't healthy livers. And these
Wow.
people probably had no idea. And it is getting worse and worse and worse out there because of all the things that Angie mentioned earlier, all the terrible toxins that we have in our world. It's going to be to the point where people are not going to be able to get any kind of transplants because there's no healthy organs. So if this, you might not even know it, but you could be having some of these problems and you won't know until they get really bad. So this is a great way to kind of stave off some of those really bad things.
And that's, you know, it's so sad that, and you don't feel your liver going bad either, you guys. Just one day you'll be like, something's not right. And you'll go and they'll be like, yep, you've got either fatty liver, either non-alcoholic, could be alcoholic, you know, but it is amazing the problems that we see with liver issues. And oh my gosh, there are things you can do. There are easy, inexpensive things that you can do to prevent or at least put off for a long time if you're doing the right things. And detoxing is one of them. You know, this detox and bioage, you know, maybe you're not one who wants to worry about the genetic part, but you're more just like my health, even though MTHFR is a huge factor. And at LabCorp, it's $500. Gary Braca's is on sale for $500. And you can get the whole genetic. It's 24 markers for $178, normally $250, with a VIP membership. It's $20 more maybe, but it's super amazing to have this knowledge. But honestly, even just the detox with the BioAge that is a really great thing for you to do. And you can get it now, and maybe you wait till after, you don't have to do the whole cleanse and all that now with all the holiday stuff, even though it is very gentle, very effective, but very gentle. And you don't have to worry about being on the toilet, all day long for 30 days. It's not like that. And the cleanse is only a few days. So we hope that this kind of helps you maneuver through maybe some things that resonated with you that you might want to be like, you know what? I totally get what they said, and I think I'm going to try the detox. But remember, these specials go through the 30th, so it is crunch time. If you're watching this on a replay through a video that you got, hopefully you got to see it before it ends. If not, if you're watching it later for some reason, let us know too, because who knows, maybe we can save you a little bit of money, depending on your interest. And we're happy to have that phone conversation with you. And if somebody invited you to watch this, get back to them and ask them about these specials. Because DNA is never any lower than this. This is as cheap as it will ever get. Because
And that's only once a year.
once
They
a
don't run
year,
these specials more than like a
once a year.
Black Friday.
Yep. So it's a great gift for you, your kids, your husband, anyone is struggling. You can let them know about this too. But I know I would love to, and I know Maureen too, wish you guys all a happy Thanksgiving, and hopefully your holidays it's the best ones yet, and enjoy yourself. Stay safe. Any last thoughts, Maureen?
No, I think that's it. We just wish you all a great way to get started off. The new year's just around the
Yep.
corner. It's just
Oh
crazy,
my gosh.
but
Yep.
it's literally just around the corner. So these might be some things that you really want to give some thought to, and now is the time to save the money. And I just want to mention one last thing. My 32-year-old daughter called me yesterday, and well, actually she texted me pictures of these Black Friday specials and said, should I get the DNA with the BioAge and the detox box? And I said, honey, you already got the DNA box. I got that for you all as a gift. So you do not need the DNA. It's a one and done, you guys. You do it one time. So if you can get it at this price, she's got her DNA. Now she just needs to sit down with me and let me go over it with her and help her understand how to make it work for her and for her instead of against her. So but great deals, great time to take advantage of it. And other than that, yes, have happy Thanksgiving, and let us know if you have any questions.
All right, everyone. Well, good night.
Good night.